Do you know why you're not supposed to leave leftovers out at night? According to ancient folklore, wandering spirits with no one to honor them often mistake leftovers on the table as offerings meant for them. If you're in the habit of leaving food out overnight, I hope this story gives you something to think about. This happened to Kai Shukun from Hengshui, Hebei, and it's a true story experienced by my cousin, Li Zhongping. My cousin was the only boy among 4 siblings, so of course, he was spoiled from a young age. He never took anything seriously, refused to find a proper job, and my grandma would nag him all the time. Back in 2017, my cousin was working as a night watchman at a construction site. It was around National Day. He didn't want to go home and listen to grandma's lectures, so he volunteered to stay behind and guard the site. He was supposed to share the post with a guy from Chongqing named He Chang, but one day He Chang claimed his wife had run off with another man, and he had to go home to raise the kid. Whether that was true, no one knows. And just like that, my cousin was left completely alone on the site. Every time he did his rounds, he'd curse He Chang's entire family for bailing on him. Then again, maybe it wasn't so bad. At least he didn't have to smell He Chang's stinky feet anymore. My cousin made a quick patrol around the site, saw nothing unusual, then went back to the dorm and started scrolling through TikTok. Being the pampered type, of course, he didn't know how to cook. Luckily, food delivery was still running during the holidays, so he wasn't going to starve. He ate takeout, watched videos, took a walk when he got too full, and still got paid. What a heavenly life. Like most young people, once he felt good, he crashed right away. My cousin soon fell fast asleep, but sometime later, he was woken by a strange sound, slurp slurp, munch munch. Annoyed and sweating, he cracked one eye open, but being the careless type, he quickly went back to sleep. The noise just kept getting louder, until it woke him up again, only for it to stop the moment he opened his eyes. He wasn't sure if he was losing his mind. It had been so loud. Why was the room completely silent now? As I said before, my cousin doesn't overthink things, so he rolled over and fell asleep again. Thankfully, this time he got some decent sleep. He didn't wake up until 1 in the afternoon and lazily got out of bed. Still groggy from being disturbed the night before, he decided to wash his face first. But as he walked past the table, something didn't feel right. Where's my food? Didn't I leave a bunch of leftovers last night? The half box of takeout that had been there was now completely gone. But my cousin's mind is pretty simple. If he doesn't understand something, he just stops thinking about it. Probably just some rats that got to it, he figured. That day, my cousin again ordered way too much takeout, and once again, left more than half of it untouched, just sitting on the table. After stuffing himself, he let out a burp and went to bed early. But sure enough, around midnight, that same slurp slurp sound woke him up again. This time, though, my cousin got smart. He pretended not to hear it, closed his eyes, and slowly rolled over. Once his head was turned, he cracked his eyes open just a bit. He was ready to catch the little thief daring enough to steal his leftovers. But the moment he looked, he nearly died from fright. He saw 3 shadowy figures, faintly glowing blue, hunched over the table, slurping and gobbling the leftovers like beasts. In one glance was enough to tell, they were definitely not human. He was completely terrified. He scrambled out of bed and flipped on the lights. But the second the light came on, poof, those shadows vanished into thin air. My cousin didn't buy it. He turned the lights off again. On, off, on, off. What the hell was going on? He stared blankly at the messy takeout containers on the table. It took him a while to muster the courage, but when he finally went over, every bit of leftover food was gone. The doors and windows were still locked. What? Could those things turn invisible? I've got to admit, my cousin's imagination was impressive. Once he figured it out, he stopped worrying. As long as they weren't trying to kill him, he could live with it. So he flopped back into bed and went to sleep again. The next day, he woke up just in time for the local flea market. While wandering around, he spotted a few fortune tellers and figured, why not ask them about the weird stuff happening lately? But before my cousin could even get close, one of the fortune tellers looked straight at him and said, "Hey, young man, your aura looks off. Have you recently encountered something unclean?" My cousin, being the open book he is, spilled the whole story. The moment he mentioned the construction site, the fortune teller nodded. He said the site used to be a mass grave, filled with unclaimed corpses and forgotten tombs. The developer, wanting to save time and money, had just built right on top of them. After explaining, the fortune teller handed him a protective talisman and told him to hang it on the door. The shadows wouldn't dare enter after that. Back at the site, my cousin stared at the charm in his hand for a long time. Then, smack, he threw it on the ground. He went back to his room, didn't leave, still ordered too much food, and still left most of it uneaten. But now, after eating, he'd leave the leftovers outside, on a pile of sand near the door. Why did he do it? Maybe he felt sorry for the wandering spirits. Or maybe, he finally learned to clean up after dinner.